Guys, don't you hate it when you're running your totalitarian religious state and then all of a sudden attack can?
Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Sends you to a magical fantasy world. Yeah, it happens more often than you think. That's why today we're back in Victoria 3 Realms of Exeter, the best Victoria 3 fantasy mod. And we're going to try the Dragon Isles. Now of course, they've added many new things, such as this magical flying island, which is run by none other than the members of the channel. Remember guys, nothing bad ever happens here. I'm not just getting paid to say that, promise. Anyway, back to the Dragon's Isles, as we're currently besieged by a plague, which isn't some random boring disease that simply kills you, like COVID. It's far worse than that. It actually transforms our mighty red Ilvasari dragons into the quite small Kotskarvi dragons, like they're the size of children. Gross. We desperately need a cure, and of course we're part of the Ashen Pact. I'm definitely going to change the name, but I haven't decided who do I want us to be just yet. Now we definitely need to step up the research. We don't even know what's law enforcement, let alone any of the magics. Our culture is obsessed with relics, and of course we have Dragon Heritage, which gives us lower interest rates, gold reserve limit, and less mortality rate per level of wealth. Additionally, we have a single party state unlocked, and we are ruled by our high priest, Volarush Werthausk. Obviously we're led by the custodians in our religious totalitarian state. We desperately need a realistic economic system. And of course we have a classic fantasy race between the disease which is destroying our people and finding the cure for it. We just have to teach a lot of people reading. That shouldn't be too difficult. Remember guys, the first step of dominating the fantasy world market is to start mining iron. And the second step is to leverage microplastics and magical tools created with microplastics, which will allow you to shove mages into the sweatshops and chair factories, increasing their overall productivity with no side effects to the consumers. And the third step is to add some lead to the potions. Remember guys, if your luxurious potions cause cramps, hyperactivity, headaches, vomiting, fatigue, anemia, abdominal pain, personality changes, loss of sex drive, infertility, numbness in your feet and legs, it means you're getting the good stuff. And it seems that we have a special building in our capital island. That's pretty cool. Damn it, the childification epidemic grows. I guess we're gonna have to isolate the ports. Coat of the Blight, god damn it. It seems that some of our priests are starting to worship the childification disease. No brothers, they're actually adults. They merely look like children. Stay away. Man, the church is falling apart and I just started. We're also desperate for some more trade capacity. Wait a minute, people are leaving my faction. Well, not on my watch, you inferior green dragons and friends. Oh, I don't have enough maneuvers. Wait a minute, more people are leaving. Oh, I get it. Not all of my power block members are subjects. We certainly have to change that. Lazituluk back down. Alright, we just need some more cohesion. And hopefully I don't have to murder any of my allies. I mean, I will have to get aggressive with anyone who dares to leave the Western Dragon Coalition. They back down. Hard power. Am I right guys? Alright, that's it. I've decided. The Ashen Pact is dead. It is time for the Dragon International Committee. I don't have space. Alright then, just the abbreviation. It is time for the Dragon International Committee, keen on salvation. That's who we are going to be from now on. Are we a religious totalitarian state or what? Finally, some grounded realism in my magical fantasy. We should get appointed bureaucrats, as it will help us find a cure. It just hurts me so, seeing my brothers interacting with adults. I'm never inviting them on my island. They just ruin the vibe. Also, we're obviously the West, so we have to conquer all of the Western islands, which are currently populated by bird people. Gross. It's manifest destiny time. Don't worry guys, this won't be difficult, as we have boats. We're winning decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. They can't outlast us. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not. We're punching them while they're down, as it should be. They are toast and they know it. We decide their fate. And it's elections time. Oh my god. There's like 8% turnout, but it doesn't matter because the custodians are gonna have a pretty big win. I can feel it. And we won on the battlefield. We won on the geopolitical chessboard. We won on the ballots, not to mention the legislative wins. Also, I am desperate to build enough universities so people can read and have the proper understanding that we're gonna win on the international stock market as well. More cultists, god damn it brothers, you have to stop hanging out with child-sized adults. It makes the church look bad because they're not children. Alright, that's it, we're getting advanced research. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm the crazy one. The dragon blight spreads. Alright, so here's the thing. We have to keep our culture above 40%. Otherwise, we get unrecognized. And of course, as the disease spreads, we can give provinces to our puppets so we can buy some more time. Some anarchistic goblins are embargoing us, and it seems that they have a special lawless society. They are an anarchistic monarchy. Hilarious. I simply have to make them my subject, as I'm desperate to be the anarchy king. Okay, but how does this work exactly? They don't have a government or anything. We just walk in, oh like, now introducing taxes. You're gonna love it. Honestly, it sounds like a mess. Well, it's my mess now. So, free trade, peak Western civilization. We should also teach people reading. Granted, wizarding schools are inherently dangerous, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And it's not as if teaching the children the magics of magic will pull them away from the magics of Dragon Jesus. That would be preposterous. Alright guys, I'm going to present to you our latest investment scheme, the goldfish, which is a fish made out of gold. That's right, we're going to invest in Fantasy Greenland and Fantasy Iceland in order to solve all of our financial issues, and then I'm going to invade them at my earliest convenience. I mean, Fantasy Iceland simply refuses to give me the gold. Guys, I'm perfectly aware this isn't an average fish. I will kill you for it. We're also going to work our way towards our first company, as research will take a bit of time, so we're gonna get it through our power block. Alright guys, I'm going to introduce you to the magics of flammable solids. It burns, increases our productivity, gives people jobs. If you stand next to it long enough, you get black lung, suffocate and die. Just like all other magical tools, such as microplastics and tools created with microplastics. The blight spreads. Damn it, I hate myself for not actually hating the idea of having smaller dragons work in the flammable solids mines, as they're way more effective. Curses! I'm becoming one of the cultists, but for greed and profit purposes and not perverted purposes. But with magical schools, we can get some more arcana, and I can finally talk about the brand new reworked magic system. Honestly, we're so behind on the research. I feel like I'm playing an average Victoria 3 game, attempting to mine iron and flammable solids. I mean, we are making a ton of money, producing Jaro piss and luxurious potions, but I need some more hard-hitting fantasy moments, like the one where Gandalf stood in front of the Balrog and said, "You shall not pass, because you don't have the proper documents, and we hate illegal immigrants." Oh, I know, we can subjugate Fantasy Romania. As you're probably aware, last time they managed to unite the Fantasy Balkans, which gave us quite a lot of dividends. A professional army, my favorite fantasy trope. We should also get rid of the guild system. And it seems that the Fantasy Romanian allies are really putting their back into it. Unlike my allies, who keep ignoring my requests to invade random countries, even though I casually remark that I might invade them as well. That's highly unrealistic. This is a fantasy mod, so I guess it checks out, but still, I guess we can close the fantasy Strait of Hormuz until we destroy their economy. I mean, it's a solid strategy and it's definitely working. We just have to plow through so many of them. Dragon Jesus. Oh no, our dear High Priest Volarush Werthausk is dead during the election campaign. What awful timing. This will definitely hurt the custodian performance. But now we have a brand new High Priest, Rain Werthausk, who is a devout theocrat, like father like son. Am I right guys? The Council of Experts sure knows how to pick 'em. Anyway, off to brutalizing the Fantasy Romanians. Alright, now we can get some wizards in our universities so we can get more innovation. Abandoned by their allies who are a bunch of losers. Conquering them is so much easier when we have to plow through relatively low number of goblins. Alright guys, you know me. I always say stuff like, we run Fantasy Romania now. Clamp down on the trade unions. Tax the poor. Expel all the sick people. Invade your allies just to see what happens and stuff like that. And I often get accused that this is some form of political propaganda, but it's not. And we can finally get magical divisions. Oh boy, what great timing! They only need microplastics to amplify their magical powers, allowing them to burn their enemies alive, freeze their blood, which denies oxygen to their brain, causing rapid brain cell death. Or my personal favorite, induce spontaneous explosive diarrhea in the middle of the fight, which isn't necessarily lethal, but it's a great crowd control type spell. Finally, the excitement your average soldier needed. I mean, the battlefield was quite an inhumane place before this. And of course, after conquering a kingdom specifically designed to house all dragons affected by the enchildification disease, we're losing the fight with the disease. I have no idea what I was expecting, to be honest. In hindsight, that might have been a magic. Finally, I can talk about the brand new reworked magical system. Alright guys, focus on this. We get to spend 200 arcana, and then we get to progress on our chosen branch. For example, the golem allows us to begin our journey by increasing our state construction efficiency and our relic output, or mine and oil throughput. Additionally, we can get resource discovery chance and plus 10 maximum underways. Alternatively, we can get justice and increase our assimilation. Realistically, this whole enchildification disease mechanic is practically assimilating to a different culture. Hopefully, getting more assimilation will slow it down. That's right, the cure for our existential crisis was the culture war this whole time. And of course, we can see all of our active magics in our country screen. Please ignore the missing funds. It's nothing to worry about, promise. Because Fantasy Greenland is starting to stack up the gold. Now that's what I'm talking about. Additionally, our brand new research will allow our adventurers to get exotic fabrics, which are pretty expensive. That's right, our heavily armed, brave adventurers venture out into the wilderness, risking life and limb for profit. A timeless fantasy classic. Now, to be fair, I've been on these adventurer expeditions and they were all very professional, handling all the beasties without too much trouble. Realistically, the only reason why the mortality rate is so high is because majority of adventurers are 8. Yet another thing not to focus on. Tax the poor. God knows they deserve it. Now I do wish to change our magical acceptance law to religious monopoly. Unfortunately, no one is endorsing it. And we also need more research to get the best welfare system. Mutagenic trials. Use the poor. That's what I always say. So I guess we can get cultural exclusion. And we've discovered more ancient ruins, which belong to our ancestors. You guys know what that means. It is time for us to gather the adventurers so we can plunder for money. God, I love money. Socialism, a timeless fantasy trope. And of course, it is time for us to reject globalism and attempt to be more self-sufficient. We shall start by increasing our Dragon Balls fruit plantations, my favorite fruit. Remember guys, the microplastic tools add electrolytes. Alright guys, I know you got sufficiently distracted by all the magic stuff, but that didn't help with the socialists, so we're going to get a parliamentary republic, a timeless fantasy distraction, a cure for the kobolds, which is not the dragon blight. Wait, are there 2 diseases? Well, alright then. All we have to do now is use the special matters decree and the enchildification disease will disappear. Alright guys, it's time for you to ignore this government neglect and focus on the reality that we're going to spend tons of taxpayer money to hire a special adventurer who will go out there and live the life as an adventurer sponsored by the government. I'm not exactly sure what he does, but by God, he'll do it. And it seems that our parliamentary reform has failed, which will certainly anger the socialists. But that's alright guys, we're gonna get a dedicated police force to throw at the socialists, because fuck them. And now I'm going to introduce a brand new innovative way to handle the dragon blight. We're going to create a special administration zone only for infected dragons. What can I say guys, I'm just really good at finding creative and innovative ways to solve complex issues. Alright then, it is time for us to have a comprehensive land reform. And we can also establish our very first company. We have plenty of unique ones, so I guess I'm going to choose the Dragon Balls fruit one. I just love to gobble on some Dragon Balls, if you know what I'm saying. And it seems that our anarchistic goblins are now a basic autocracy. But now that I look at the map, I'm starting to feel like we have grown a bit more timid. That's it, no more Mr. Nice Dragon, it's Bad Dragon time. They back down, because being Bad Dragon pays. No wait, this sounds so bad. I'm sorry guys, but please do not Google Bad Dragon, as they're not sponsoring the video, but it kinda sounds like they do. Anyway, it seems that we can get 2 countries for the price of 1. I'll take it, because Dragon Balls always come in pairs. We've achieved victory over the Blight, and all it took was some basic government attention. Damn, that's some crazy governance, am I right guys? And we only have 6 more provinces to go. The bird people backed down. What's the matter? Are you chicken? Haha, bird people, they suck. Am I right guys? And we can get another company. Wow, these all suck. I guess we can get the Jaro Piss one. That's the real moneymaker industry at the moment. A vaccination mandate. It's alright guys, it's not Tylenol. You're gonna be fine. And just like that, we're making progress. A quiet end, now we're talking. Only a handful of provinces left, and the land reform is done. Unfortunately, it seems that we are no longer the second great power, so we're going to get laissez-faire. Unfortunately, that made the socialists angry. But that's alright guys, because now we can use cloud silver and produce more steel. You should definitely focus on that, and not the open rebellion, magical war crimes, the blatant government corruption, our country's decline on the global stage, the looming debt crisis, the standard of living crisis, the fact most people can't read, and my blatant half-ass attempts to guide public consciousness away from all these things. And of course, the socialists never actually rebelled. I'm not gaslighting you guys. Instead, I'm here to tell you that we can now use rare earths instead of iron, which will certainly help our construction. Crap! My government neglect is affecting adventurer coverage. So basically, if you don't have enough adventurers to take care of all the magical beasties, people lose standard of living because they get mauled by magical bears or something. So we just have to build some questing offices, which will start hiring adventurers. Now they do consume services, but we can build taverns, which transform booze and furniture into services. And I know what you guys are thinking. Are we getting 8-year-olds drunk and throw them to fight magical bears? We also need more construction sectors, which is the thing to focus on right now. Neoliberal economics that actually work, my favorite fantasy trope. Alright guys, I know what you're saying, I can hear you through the screen. Isn't it a wise idea to ban children from working these dangerous jobs? I have a creative and innovative solution. A Majocracy. That's right, if the children know their ways around the magics, they're gonna be fine. Most of the time. We will never know unless we try. Which is the best approach for health and safety type issues. What the dickens? The bird people who were too chicken to fight for their independence are ready to fight for their independence. They said "Paka!" and everything. Alright guys, I'm authorizing full access to the war crimes library. I mean, come on, what is this vile language? Personally, I'm offended. I mean, haven't we, the red dragons, the most powerful of all creatures on the planet, suffered enough after we subjugated all of their peoples without firing a shot, mind you? And now we have to deal with this? Pardon my language guys, but I believe the proper response is Paka and numerous war crimes. Empire saved. Whew, that was a close one. And it seems that only one province is suffering from the dragon blight. Soon we'll get rid of it. Finally, we can magicify, and we're ruled by our archmage, Rain Werthusk, who is committed to spread the magics of Dragon Jesus. You know, we need some kind of a healthcare system, something like charity hospitals. And finally, we managed to defeat the dragon blight, and we got a massive bonus. You know, because now we are free to murder our allies. guys. And finally, unify all of the dragons. Not to mention the great technologies, which will now allow us to produce even more Jaro piss. Remember guys, if you suffer from shortness of breath, drooling, fever, rapid development of low blood pressure, severe pain in mouth and throat, speech problems, vomiting with blood, it means you're getting the good stuff. I mean, the children in the flammable solid mines will definitely be grateful for the extra strength, which will help them fulfill their quotas. Besides, they already suffer from shortness of breath because they inhale flammable solids, which is nothing to think about. I mean, have you heard the news lately?
Finally issued a statement. The Eastern Republic is our most trusted ally. However, evil powers have caused them to act regrettably. It is our sincere hope that one day the Eastern Republic will be our ally again.
That's so unexpected during the election season as well. That's just unsportsmanlike. But I am certain the custodians will solve this problem peacefully. Breaking news!
The unimaginable has happened. These countries have joined the Eastern Republic Navy and have started launching an all-out assault.
Motherfucker. Okay, that's clearly a plot to make the custodians look bad. Tough luck, losers! The custodians win the elections once again, and it seems that the devout have more clout, so we have a brand new Archmage, Bausia, na Utrask, rebellion crushed, and healthcare system established. I am certain many people will use it. Honestly, since we changed the strength potion formula, lots of people are spontaneously vomiting blood. It's worse than the dragon blight. But fear not guys, it's nothing for you to focus on. But we should get a national guard, just in case. Fantasy Island gave up, which means we have unrestricted access to the goldfish. Ka-ching! Finally, the technology we needed to upgrade our sweatshops. But most importantly, we can now allow mages to make chairs. The wildest fantasy of every mage. Listen guys, I don't want to speculate, but if Voldemort was accepted in the furniture factories, he would have turned out as the good guy. I'm sure of it. Well, you guys know me, I would hate to humanize a monster, but being rejected from furniture factory definitely stings. Speaking of monsters, our market desperately needs monster essence, and we're investing in the bird people's hunting lodges, which practically outsources the mortality rate. Now I know what you guys are thinking, is this some sort of elaborate concentration camp? This is certainly nothing to think about. Alright then, it's time for us to get an oligarchy. At this stage of the game, traditionalists feel like regressives, if you know what I'm saying. Finally, the strength potion that doesn't cause you to vomit blood immediately. My favorite. And we're the largest producer on the planet. Just look at how many businesses are buying it. I mean, we also managed to get the unique Dragon Balls fruit. It just looks like the average Dragon Balls. Also, we're not even a significant producer. 6% are imported fantasy bananas. Hilarious. And we reached magical pollution level 1, which means that the intelligentsia is no longer skeptic about the mages. They are now actively hostile. And the petite bourgeoisie gets skeptical. Listen guys, I get it. Looking at the magical industries, it's so easy to ignore the magical pollution, which is this bit right here. And it's so much easier to focus on the tons of cash, which is something you should definitely focus on. Massive harvest fail. Damn it, frost has engulfed all of our islands, which has nothing to do with the climate change. Remember guys, if your island gets sunk because of the rising tides, just buy a house on a bigger island. As a country entirely made out of islands, we have nothing to worry about. An oligarchy, finally, we can add mages to the government. And listen guys, magic isn't destroying the environment, it's intelligentsia propaganda. And I'm also desperate for a single party state Majocracy. We can also get another company. Wait a minute, there's a goldfish one, which looks pretty cool, but we already have a grocery one, so I'm going to get the Gizmo company. We just have to expand our workshops a bit. Finally, a magical industry corporation that uses microplastics to create magical tools made out of microplastics, who are very open in their opinion that magical industries do not harm the environment. And trust me guys, they spew out a lot of magical pollution. If it was actually bad for the planet, they would definitely know. Personally, I trust them. You should trust them too. In unrelated news, we're going to use more magical tools in the the flammable solid mines, which will generate even more magical pollution, which is good for the planet according to research. And it has nothing to do with increasing corporate profits. Promise! Motherfucker, golems are starting to appear in the mines, just as we were switching the tools. What a strange coincidence. But what's worse, the children are protesting. Granted, I can send the police to beat up the children, but that would admit that we have a problem, which we don't, so you guys should really ignore it. And finally, after decades of negotiations, our Balkan dragons are back in our faction. Yet another victory for diplomacy. What great timing as well, just as I was about to start pursuing annex all of our allies by force if we have to policy. And just look at that, we're so good at making gizmos, we're about to start making doodads. And just look at that massive economic growth you can clearly see when we started using magic. Now I know some of you are looking at the planet health bar chart, but what you really have to focus on is the Dominion Empire. They're the most powerful country on the planet. Obviously we have to increase our self-reliance, because they are a bunch of douchebags, and everyone knows it. But before that, gold. God, I love gold. I would murder half of the anarchistic goblins in order to get it. We also discovered more goldfishes, but we're desperate for more construction sectors. And we're also starting to produce doodads. They're beautiful. And of course, this catapulted us to the #1 spot. And I actually realized the magical fantasy bananas are coming from Bird Scotland, and they're harvesting them from beetles. Gross. No wonder people are having spontaneous blood vomits. It's definitely not the sulfur in the strength potions. Anyway, we're going to start expanding the monster hunting and microplastic extraction in all of our bird subjects, so we can increase our self-reliance on those critical components. The potion and doodad economies simply cannot function without them. Finally, a single party state. Now I'm going to shove the mages in the government, and just like that, we have elections between the custodians and the Agrarian League, which are the mages. Well, there you go, guys. We finally managed to achieve peak two-party system. And look at our doodad company actively doing that, which is necessary to collect all of the microplastics, which is healthy for the reefs, according to latest research. At this rate, we're gonna be self-sufficient in no time. Incredible elections, respectable results. This of course cements our Archmage, Bauzja, Nai Utrask, and this allows us to get sanctioned magic. That's right, guys, everyone shall be free to practice their magical arts, so long as they have the proper documents. Remember kids, Dragon Jesus hates undocumented mages, and we have 200 arcana, which means we can add another magic. I'm going to continue the justice path and get an extra setback for laws. Additionally, we're subjugating the Balkan dragons, and just like that, the custodians have been disbanded, and it seems that the mages will leave the Agrarian League on the next elections. Actually, our Archmage can finally resign, and now we have a brand new Archmage, Wink now Ufaning, an arcane Republican, which means he's practically Voldemort, if Voldemort had a fascistic obsession with papers. There are two other mage ideologies, one of it is the mage capitalist one, and the other, Voldemort didn't go far enough. We'll see if we get any of them this playthrough. Now obviously, Red Dragon science is the best science, but we need an Article 5 so we can fully commit to the douchebag NATO bit. Finally, mages are recognized as a vital part of society and can be freely hired all over the economy. And we've almost completed our Voldemort cosplay, we just need thorough separation. Also, the gold goblins are ready to join the Dragon Isles. Another election cycle, and there are no candidates. Well, there you go, guys, we managed to achieve a no-party state. The perfect elections. The Agrarian Party managed to win all of the votes, and it's the intelligentsia now. That's right, guys, we have a brand new Archmage, Yoke Cyril, and our allies are under attack. Of course we'll help, it only makes sense. We're allied with them since the very beginning of the game, which you guys were perfectly aware of, because you pay attention to our foreign policy. I'm sure of it. Anyway, a quick and easy intervention later, we are victorious. This of course allows us to unify with yet another they refused. We're also going to get an exciting tax reform in order to postpone our inevitable economic collapse. Military spending, am I right, guys? At one point you just have to ask yourself, why are we paying these losers so much? Like they can't even use their daddy's money to dodge the draft, like the real respectable dragons in our society. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly content to simply increase taxes taxes. But do you know what really ruffles my bad dragon? The fact that our labor force is entirely consisting of male dragons. That's right, all the female dragons stay home in the kitchen, make sandwiches, take care of the kids, do the laundry, like go out there and get a real job. Dragon women. Am I right, guys? And we've reached pollution level 2, which will now allow us to colonize provinces which were previously uncolonizable. See that, guys? The environment was the bad guy this whole time, and the planet is simply begging us to use it for profit. According to research, of course. Anyway, it is time for us to annex half of Fantasy Greenland, so we can take the goldfish. And the Agrarian League managed to win, but it's the industrialists this time. And we have a brand new Archmage, Reigned Suoquain. Now, of course, as we are murdering Fantasy Greenlandians over fish, we're going to start electrolyzing. Alright guys, now I know what you're thinking. The Agrarian Party isn't the same once the industrialists took over. Like we're murdering our allies for profit. That's so gross and disgusting. I mean, just look at that. Goat. The government was right this whole time, and I should have never doubted them. God, I love the government. I'll do anything they tell me, and never demand accountability ever again. Hey, wait a minute. Vairia has declared bankruptcy. They start as one of the great powers, so I'm obviously going to subjugate them, even though it takes quite the infamy. It definitely worth it. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Oh my god, another war over meaningless fish. Can't we focus on economic issues or paying off the debt? It's just an endless cycle of violence. Oh my god, just look at the magical offense and defense. We're completely destroying them. I'm so desperate to join the military and commit all the war crimes on behalf of the government, which I love, as I'm a great patriot and I have faith in my leaders. And you know what? I get it. It's a normal thing to think, because at the end of the day, facts and logic don't care about your feelings. And by God, this happened, which cements us as the good guys. And it seems that we've managed to secure our magical industry supply chain. Now we're still importing quite a lot of things. However, we have a long list of suppliers, which means that our supply chain is safe from any sudden price shocks, except for the chairs. Arador has completely cornered the fantasy world market of chairs, and it's all been produced in a single province. Holy fucking shit. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Are we gonna kill Aradorians to take control of their massive chair factory? Come on guys, you know me, I've killed for less. Alright, it is time for the number 1 great power and friends to fight the number 2 great power and friends. And it seems that they're using all of their mages to attack us, whilst at the same time don't have enough mages for defense. Although to be honest, I have no idea what these numbers mean. Hey, wait a minute, the Danubian Empire has more than 100 infamy. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I know we are in a massive war against the second most powerful country on the planet, but I'm gonna have to declare another war against the third most powerful country on the planet, because fuck 'em. I mean, we've already won. That was actually embarrassingly easy. And we also managed to reach 2000 prestige, making us Hegemony of the fantasy world. And the Agrarian Party managed to win, so now we have a brand new Archmage, Yoke Siru, again. Alright guys, it is time for the final war, which will cement us as the most dominant country on the planet. Now is the perfect time to join the military, because once we're done here, we're going to upgrade ourselves to the world police. Finally, women can now work in the chair factories. That's right guys, from now on, not a single mage will be rejected from chair factory. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Did I just edit out a couple of failed naval invasions? Of course not. That would be propaganda. They are certainly the second most powerful country, but even still, it's not even close. Especially after we cut them down to size. They're now nothing more than... I actually have no idea what changed. Which might lead some of you to think that this was a pointless war. Guys, we've managed to secure all of our supply chains and unleash our full industrial potential. Although to be fair, we still have 24 million peasants. Jesus Christ, where did they come from? And in case you're wondering, we have 39 million fully accepted red dragons, which are the best of all dragons. Remember guys, all dragons of different skin colors are second-class citizens. To be fair, they suck, but they're still dragons. Our third-class citizens are all the different humanoids humanoids, elves, humans, and alike. Our 4th class citizens are all the bird people, beast people, and goblins. I mean, they pick bananas off beetles, which subsequently cause your average citizen to spontaneously puke blood. It's definitely the bananas, according to research. And of course, the most hated of all peoples are the changelings, because they can change the shape of their body. And I know for a fact that they shapeshift as red dragons and sell you strength potions who actually have mashed bananas in them and then cause you to spontaneously puke blood. Honestly, we should probably deport them. Anyway, we managed to completely dominate the fantasy world and of course achieve peak legislation that works exactly as intended according to research. And tell me guys, are you excited for the upcoming Victoria 3 update, the Strait of Hormuz? I know I am. Until next time.